Disclaimer, I do not dislike CinemaSins, and that is not a lie. For my next Everything Wrong with CinemaSins video, I'm going to be seeing their video on the bad guys, but before we start, I'd like to say one thing. While I'm technically counting this video as one I want to do, I am still going to give it thanks to Fiction Fanboy for suggesting this video. Enjoy the video, everybody.
Comcast, winner.
Pointing things out on the screen again.
We interrupt this 41 seconds of logos to ask a simple question. Why is the crescent of the moon inside the damn moon? How is the sun's reflection of the moon only being blocked in that single particular area? Did someone build a giant Earth-sized stencil? What the hell's going on here?
This is just a new way of showing the DreamWorks logo, which they also did in 2021 with the opening logos of Spirit Untamed.
Snakes have impeccable taste buds. I can taste air.
No, I think you have a tongue that moves the scents in the air to a special organ in your mouth to interpret them. So that just sounds like smelling with your tongue.
Actually, snakes do in fact have the ability to taste air without opening their mouths, and this is due to a special shape they have on their lips. So I'm going with Mr. Snake over you, Jer.
You know the one good thing about this place? What? We never have to wait for a table.
Why? Because you're a scary snake? Or is it because you're a talking snake?
It's the former, because Mr. Wolf later says that the humans see the bad guys as monsters, which he wishes they didn't see them as.
Hey, you! Get over here.
Why? I can apparently hear you just fine going 70 down the expressway from 2 lanes over.
He's just saying this so that we can learn who he and Mr. Snake are, as well as introduce us to Miss Tarantula, Mr. Shark, and Mr. Piranha.
Also, fourth wall breakeration.
Yeah, so?
You're afraid because I'm the big bad wolf.
I am not.
This isn't a sin, you're just speaking to Mr. Wolf here as if he can hear you. And I can imagine the Birdman responding to this with Jeremy yells at the screen cliche if he ever does a video on this movie.
I am the villain in every story.
Tell that to Hans Gruber, Regina George, and Daniel LaRusso.
Jeremy says something random cliche.
Say hello to Mr. Snake.
Oh, sure, an animated movie can say it, but I say it one time in a Panda Express, and I'm the villain. Whatever.
Jeremy says something random again.
Is this policeman hanging off the side of the vehicle? Why?
Probably to try to catch up to the bad guys easily, especially since Chief Luggins leans out of her car to grab onto their car later on.
Sorry.
The movie expects us to believe that not only do piranhas fart, that when they do, it produces a large enough amount of gas that not only immediately fills a car, but also can then billow out of the car and cause all the cars behind it to wreck. Oh, and that it's also green for some reason.
Well, yeah, that's what we're being shown here.
What? I just wanted a longer car chase. It's the best part.
Admitting directly to your audience that the best part of the movie is over within the first 7 minutes.
But more of the car chase happens after this, meaning that this part of the film isn't over yet, my dude.
This cake somehow returns to the car intact. Sorry, movie, you can't launch your cake and keep it too.
But this kind of thing has happened in movies before, such as this from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2.
We're gonna have to get used to that landing.
Yeah, we may be bad, but we're so good at it.
The delusion that surviving this has anything to do with skill and not the fact that death appears to be on holiday.
Well, this is an animated family film, so they're not going to show a gruesome car crash on screen, Jeremy.
I forgot we had those push pops. Man, my tummy is rumbling like a kraken right now.
Remember all those times when you ate a popsicle when you were hungry? Me neither.
How is this a sin? You're just asking your viewers a question that isn't a problem with this movie. And so, this will be getting my award.
News position is the HPV of movie exposition. I'm almost more surprised when a movie doesn't have it.
But Jeremy, you always sin a film for having exposition, so why and how would it be surprising to you for a movie not having exposition?
So here's the plan.
It wouldn't be a heist movie without a detailed plan explanation before the heist that leaves nothing to the imagination and only serves to set up where the plan will go wrong later. Sorry, I meant to say it wouldn't be a terrible heist movie without a detailed plan explanation before the heist that leaves nothing to the imagination and only serves to set up where the plan will go wrong later.
Okay, I agree with the first part of your sin, but not this part here, since it implies you think this great film is terrible. And for that, you're getting these many sins.
Interesting piece. Trashy, pointless, and pretentious.
Inherent vice.
Jeremy says something random, cliche.
If the bad guys crash this event, I am definitely going to lose my job, and I will not hesitate to take you down with me!
Geez, this character is so over the top that Sylvester Stallone is suing for copyright infringement. That is not how that works.
Now, what were you saying, Jeremy?
Is that piranha supposed to be wearing that man's clothing? The movie attempts to short-circuit us by doing things so obviously dumb and impossible that we can't help but know they are self-aware and realize how dumb they are, thereby hoping that makes them smart. Nope.
Yes, it is part of the plan. Mr. Piranha is wearing this to blend in with the other waiters so that he can go to the electric room without being caught.
But also thinking a retinal scanner could be beaten with a picture of someone's eye.
But it's technically still Diane's eye, so it'll still work either way, my dude.
Writers think a heist movie without laser trip sensors is more absurd than a piranha with legs.
But Mr. Shark also has legs, which sharks don't have in real life, so how is it more absurd that only Mr. Piranha has legs to you?
This security system not being designed to detect Ric Flair.
Jeremy says something random, cliche.
Fancy security system is fancy enough to detect and shoot at the spring, but not fancy enough to alert anyone that it did so.
This was not supposed to happen.
The oh no, how are they going to get out of this one moment every heist movie is obligated to use because suspense.
Yeah, so?
Webbs is going to pass out from holding her breath so that she doesn't breathe any of Mr. Piranha's nervous toots. And I don't know if you realize this, but farts are not poison.
Well, yeah, since the movie itself establishes that Mr. Piranha's farts aren't poisonous gas.
And when you're good, you're loved.
So help me if this movie doesn't make a greater point about love being unconditional, not having to be earned. I swear I will hate it forever. Wolf! Crying wolf.
Not a sin there, my dude.
We're gonna pretend to go good.
And I say this out loud because they've left us back here by ourselves for some reason.
Well, the reason why the bad guys are locked up in the police truck by themselves is obviously because no one else is being arrested.
And you feel that tingle of positivity radiating through your body, you're going to want to feel it all the time.
He's not wrong, but you have to fight the urge because there are some places it's not okay to make that tingle radiate throughout your body, like church or the dentist or Panda Express, just as completely random examples.
Okay, but one question that I have is, what the heck does that have to do with this movie?
That's it. I'll teach you to share.
I know it's a cartoon, but these characters surviving everything has got to be setting a bad example for at least one child that now thinks they can survive being completely consumed by a shark.
I highly doubt that a child watching this film will think that, my dude.
Wait, Tiffany Fluffett works as both a reporter and a newspaper writer? Working in two obsolete professions simultaneously? That's actually impressive.
Another instance of Jeremy seeing something he likes.
A wolf and a fox are not so different.
They are.
While there definitely are differences between foxes and wolves, there definitely also are things they have in common, which you can see here.
This might just be enough to win over the guests at the gala.
After all the bad press they received over the years, being arrested a few days ago, and the debacle at the lab, all it takes is one cat video to change everyone's mind.
Yeah, so?
The Golden Dolphin is inside a titanium case controlled by a randomly generated 5-digit code.
It'd be one thing if these heist plans were even the slightest bit clever or interesting, but in 45 minutes we've already seen 4 different basic-ass heist plans with the most cliched and boring setups. Do you have access to Soderbergh's bathroom? Because he could out a more interesting heist plan in his sleep.
That's just your opinion on the heist of this movie, and so this will be receiving my award.
This is different.
Good. It's nice to have one unique thing in this run-of-the-mill and sip-it-uninspired sleepwalk of a movie.
But why is this unique to you, Jeremy? You previously saw in the film that people were starting to love the bad guys after Mr. Wolf saved the cat.
Thinking a fingerprint scanner could be beaten with a picture of someone's fingerprint.
But it is still Chief Luggins' fingerprint.
Just to be clear, these guys have been singing an impromptu song, playing instruments we didn't know they could play, backed by a band that is somehow following along while they sing lyrics that go perfectly with the theme of the movie. And they've all been doing it for the past 3 minutes of film time.
Oh, good job, Jer. You just told us what we were just seeing in the movie here.
By the power vested in me, it is a pleasure to grant the bad guys a full pardon.
The pardon gets foiled, yes, but was everyone going to be okay with it based on a cat video and song?
Yeah, they were going to be okay with it.
The meteorite is gone.
It sure is, even though it was still there right before the lights went out and not there a single frame after they went dark. 1 frame! Are you telling me that the as-to-yet unrevealed villain, which is clearly Marmalade, stole the meteor in 1/24th of a second?
Yeah, that's what happened here. The movie needs a way to show us that the meteorite was stolen without revealing that it was Marmalade.
Also, now everyone who was convinced they were good a second ago thinks they are bad again based on just as little evidence as they had to the contrary a moment ago.
Well, they obviously think the bad guys stole the meteorite because they've been stealing things for their entire lives. Come on, man, have you even been watching this movie? I thought that's what your channel was all about.
Piranha, don't do anything crazy.
Piranha will now do something crazy because they need to be caught to get to the next checkpoint. Plot point.
Well, yeah, and then it backfires. What's the problem here?
Talk to Marmalade.
This sentence makes sense.
Well, yeah, since this is before Marmalade reveals his true colors.
Also, spending 30 full seconds on flashbacks to tell us something we already knew.
Yes, except it reveals to us that Marmalade was disguised as the old lady, which was something we didn't already know.
I told you guys it's a butt. It's not a butt.
It's the ultimate power source.
So, it's a butt.
Nope, still a heart, my dude.
You see, when it struck, scientists found that it emitted an electromagnetic frequency.
Waiting till after the reveal to exposition your clues.
Well, yeah, Marmalade was at first thought to be a good guy, so since he's revealed his true colors, we need to understand what his plan is.
Date of birth, October 19th, 1991? 91? Wolves usually live 6 or 7 years in the wild, and at most around 17 in captivity. This wolf is 31!
Dude, this is an animated fantasy film with animals that speak English, so it shouldn't even matter that they live longer than animals normally do.
Holy shit, Mr. Snake was born in 65? Snakes live like 30 years max. He's over 50! Are all these animals immortal? Is this like the zoological version of the old guard? Why did no one tell me this?
See the previous sin. Oh, and you'll also be getting 80 sins again.
Our life was perfect until you decided to ruin it.
Little known fact, one of the tricks Swiss watchmakers use in setting their watches perfectly is to time them to the arrival of a movie's third act conflict cliche. It never fails.
Okay, but what makes us something wrong with this movie?
Tell that to him.
Oh look, it's pronoun gaming's second cousin. Obvious pronoun misdirection.
But the guard's not technically wrong. Since Diane's face is covered, it's understandable for him to not know that the Crimson Paw is a female.
Diane?
Act as surprised as you want, but the audience was so far ahead of this reveal, they may already be halfway through the credits. Where did this car drive from that it's parked like this? Did she back it in here?
Yeah, Diane probably drove it there. Why else would it be there?
I guess the mind control also allows the rodents to all of a sudden have the intelligence and dexterity to open their cages from the inside.
Yeah, so?
I just had one thing left to steal.
The golden dolphin.
It's really dumb that the most sought after and hard to steal item in the world is a trophy given out at an annual award show.
First of all, are you going to tell us why? Second of all, it makes sense to me since it's a golden dolphin trophy.
Holy Dark Knight, it's secret hideout, Batman!
Jeremy says something random, cliche.
Good thing for Marmalade's plan that all these deliveries were the actual truckloads of cash driven to each individual charity, as opposed to, doing it digitally or some normal shit.
But giving away money digitally is just simply making a donation online. Bringing something to someone by truck is actually making a delivery.
Poison gas! Don't breathe it in!
Nope, it's cinema's very first pass gaseous ex machina. Congratulations to all involved.
I wouldn't call this a Deus Ex Machina. This is because when the other bad guys except Mr. Snape believed Mr. Wolf was right about redemption, it seemed likely they'd go to rescue him and Diane.
Come on! Spin it, blades!
Movie has actively worked to prove that no one dies in this universe, so I doubt even the children watching this movie are concerned by this perilous situation.
Well, the kids watching might think they're going to die, but we already know that they won't, since in these kinds of movies the protagonist doesn't die.
They strip off their spandex mid-drive somehow, and was Wolf wearing a suit under that thing?
Yes.
We need some kind of magnetized cross-circuit interceptor?
You mean this?
Well, good thing she grabbed all of the very specific thing that at no point was it made clear would be necessary on this mission. Just in case.
Oh, so now you're looking for the exposition. Dude, pick a lane. Is it good or bad?
What superpower is Piranha invoking that makes him able to do this? Wait, how has he been breathing out of the water this entire time? And the shark too?
To answer your first question, it's not a superpower that Mr. Piranha has. It's the fact that he's like a cannon with a short fuse, as said in the opening. As for your second question, it's because he and Mr. Shark have human characteristics.
I don't care how many of them there are. Guinea pigs cannot fly and cannot withstand that kind of force. Movie doesn't know how to guinea pig correctly.
Just stop. This is fantasy we're talking about, not reality.
Pull him up first, or I'll use this.
I dubbed this MacGuffin Lipstorch the Rogue, breather of fire and stealer of hearts.
Jeremy says something random, cliche.
Do it, or you'll lose the rock.
A demand from a failed negotiation tactic for F9 somehow makes it into the script.
Jeremy says something random again.
Who said it was the end?
Okay, help me walk through this. Is the movie saying he shot the grappling hook and it somehow launched them upwards before it even grabbed onto something? And then the explosion of the car just happened to knock the mind control helmet into the helicopter blades? Is that what happened here?
Yes, that's exactly what happened here. And here's the end result, everybody. The sin total was 528, and the sentence will be Old Switcheroo. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a nice day.